All right, welcome back everybody. My name's Andrew.
I'm Tiffany and this is Bullet.
All right, and we are the Kellys. So this has been a very popular and highly requested video. I'm gonna try to do a little bit of different editing in this than I've ever done before. I pray this thing works out, but this is the property tour video. So we're gonna kind of walk you around the property in many different ways, show you the perimeter. And I think to kind of wrap this thing up, we're going to show you a few projects that we have going on. We just released a video showing that, but we've had a lot of new subscribers that may want to see what we have going on around the property. So we're going to show you that as well. Now, a little disclaimer, you will see some of the stuff from earlier, because I've done recorded a lot of the tour. Tiffany was not here. She just got home from work. The sun is setting right now and blinding us, by the way. And there's no way I could have filmed some of the places like out in the woods with this camera. It does not work well in low light at all. So some of it was from earlier. Some of it we're about to show you right now before the sun sets. Thank y'all so much for watching. All right, well, welcome back everybody. So I am trying something new. This is my first ever attempt at a voiceover. Just got a microphone, so hopefully all this works out well. But what you can see is the pasture that I'm driving along our border here, and the drone is sitting on the back north corner of that property. So as we pan out, again, that pasture is for our future animals. We'll talk about that at the end of the video. And you can see me driving off in the Ranger, carrying y'all down the property line. So I'll jump back and forth between the drone imagery and me talking and the camera that I have on the Ranger. Now we're heading up toward the barns and the house. So here's the Ranger view of us going alongside that. Now y'all can see I'm passing some very small pines on the left. That's been a common topic on the channel, surprisingly. I had to plant those because you can see a little road to the right. That is an easement that got put in on another piece of property that's sold beside us. We tried to buy that block out there to have continuous pasture, and it just did not work out for us. But now we're coming up on bigger pine trees right here. That's the same ones. So that's the privacy you can expect right there. Okay, now we are on the south corner of the property. You can see the road that's in a lot of the videos that kind of winds going in, and I specifically designed that road just like that to give us some privacy. And all those green trees you're seeing right there, those are southern slash pine. There's 6,000 of them out there, and whenever we first purchased the property, I planted all of those. So got a lot of blood, sweat, and tear on planting those. So now we're on the border of those pine trees and our woods. And believe it or not, there's a lot of elevation change right here. It's hard to tell. As soon as you cut a corner up here, we start going downhill dramatically toward my wood yard and kind of a lay down area is what I call it. So you can see it in the distance. I've got a better shot coming up. So here it is. This is where I've been storing rock and dirt, telephone poles. There's some of the tornado damaged building right there. And this is where I'll do all my firewood. This is where the magic happens, so to speak. Now, as you can see, I have a lot more firewood to do. So there's some racks that I built. Everybody seems to like those. They look good to the eye. I've just started doing IBC totes over there to store my firewood. And here's all the propane tanks that I've been purchasing. I built fire pits, fire rings, and plan on building smokers. So I don't know if you can see the little Ranger going down there, right where the X is, and the blue line represents the trails that I built through the woods. I'll try to remember to include a playlist at the end of this video. I really had an awesome time building those trails out there. So that's what we're about to go on. So here we are entering the top side of the trail, and we are now heading into what is essentially a large clay mine, clay pits. They used to mine clay off this property because it's not as common as you think to have clay around here in Florida, and it's used for a lot of building. So now we're dropping down into that pit, and I love this upper section of property right here, and I'll explain why in just a second as soon as we park this Ranger. But it's beautiful. It looks completely different than the rest of the property. I love all the pine trees up here. So I wanted to stop here. You look out for snakes, little man, and show y'all a very unique part of the property. I actually love this area right here. It feels like we're up in South Carolina, North Carolina to me. This is the top side of the property. It's higher ground, big, beautiful pine trees everywhere. And believe it or not, we are actually standing in an old clay mine. I mean, many, many, many decades ago, they used to clay mine this. That's what all these deep pits are. I've actually never seen the bottom of them. They've never went dry because, I don't know if you see the walls, it is just packed hard red clay. So it holds water very, very well. There's more pits back here. There's a huge pit over here that makes a big horseshoe shape. Actually, when we first bought the property, it was as wet as I've ever seen. And there was ducks out there and alligators and turtles. And then everything's went close to dry a few times. Like I said, the pits never have. And, you know, the animals fluctuate, come and go with the water. But everything's coming back close to the height that it was when we first bought it, but still not quite there. So what I love about this front, again, it looks so different, so beautiful with the pine trees, and there's a lot more elevation here than the camera will give you. But I love this area right over in here. So what I really love about this area is cliffs. You just don't get cliffs on a piece of Florida property. Very few areas, maybe over near Alabama or Georgia, but it's just so unique around here. And it's because they dug it all out, but it looks natural because it's been here so long. But it's hard to explain how high that cliff right there is. Probably 30 plus feet. So just something very unique for Florida property. Maybe this will give you an idea of how big that is, but just a cool part of the property. Love it. So now we're getting ready to leave this upper section with all the pine trees and go into what I call the low bottom swamp. As soon as you enter the hardwoods right here, it completely changes. But while right here, this was all underwater when we first bought the property. This is where the ducks and alligators and everything else were. And this was just underwater a little while back. If you take a peek up over there, this is the other side of that pit. We were just over there, probably 150 or so yards. But this is the biggest clay pit on the property. As far as length, I have one that's even bigger, bowl shape. And the water goes all the way back around over there. It's just hard to get a real good visual. And hard to tell in there, but there is probably a 15 or 18 foot cliff all the way over there that you can walk around. What you see? So the illustration here with all the little straight lines in the circle, that is all the water that we're driving by that I'm about to show you. All right, so here is where the trail actually continues to go on through. Sometimes this is dry, a lot of times this holds water. Eventually I want to get rock hauled in here so we can continue on through and connect to the trail that goes on around the property. But this is what I call my wood duck pond. You'll often hear me refer to this as that. And the reason being, whenever we first bought this property, this had even more water in it than it does right now. And I can remember one cold winter there being some wood ducks out here, and I love wood ducks. They're beautiful. And that's just what I've always called it now, the wood duck pond. So it's probably a couple of acres. It goes quite a ways that way, and probably the deepest hole on it somewhere over there. You just about can't get to it. Like I said, eventually I want to put some rock in here and build my trail up, because hopefully the good Lord keeps blessing us with plenty of rain, because this is meant to always hold water. I hate droughts. So I thought I would stop right here, because this is very unique, at least for Florida standards. And I understand some of the stuff I'm showing y'all may be quite common for up north. But this ditch right here, there is actually a wet weather spring that comes up out of the ground up there. Now we have to get a lot of rain and the ground has to get saturated, but it'll come bubbling up as a freshwater spring, probably 50 yards up that direction, flow down, and you can actually still see some dirt here where we just had water flowing a while back. And this continues its way down into what I call the wood duck pond. But I love this area, and the fact that sometimes we have a spring on the property is quite unique, at least for this area. So we're coming out of the middle trail right here, coming out to what I call my food plot. We're going to whip around and connect to the backside trail that we could have got to, but because we have so much water out there, we couldn't get through from where I just showed you that it was flooded. All right, so here is another part of the property that some people may be interested in, and I have future plans for this. We do actually own part of a pond. Now, I have seen this go dry one time last year. Actually, it went dry a few days before a tropical storm hit and filled it back up. So sadly, it had fish and all in it, but there was just a couple of days that it killed everything off, and then the rains came. So I wish that storm had come so much quicker. Come on. So I think I've only ever shown this on the channel one time before, and as you can see, it's quite hard to get to and grown up. But my eventual plans are to potentially put a little bit of a floating dock out here, because whenever we first bought the property, there was bass and other fish out here, and I absolutely love fishing. So that's going to be a future project on the channel. Maybe build some sort of floating dock, since the level does fluctuate so much in this pond. Now, there's something y'all are going to notice right there, and people are going to be like, holy moly, I had no idea y'all really had a neighbor. Yes, we do. Like I said, we own about half of this pond. Our property line goes through it. And there is a dock and a house back there. But believe it or not, nobody has ever lived in that house. It's been there for years. There's kind of a whole story to it, but I'm not going to put nobody's business out there. It's just we have a neighbor, we have a house, but we don't really have a neighbor. Nobody lives in it, so we're quite secluded around here, other than a couple neighbors this direction, and one lady across the street. It is just nice and quiet and beautiful out here. Okay, so here we are. I always love this spot too. As you can tell, I just love the woods. So here is the pond that I just showed y'all, and here's the way the water flows on the property. So that when this pond fills up, it actually flows through and makes a stream through here. As you can see, that was just happening. We've been getting a lot of rain here lately, but we're on a many day spell of no rain. So it's looking like this is gonna dry back up. But normally, water flows through here during really high water levels or lots of rain. And now we're on the back side of that wood duck pond, or what I called it. So we just went through a trail over there to get back out to the food plot and whip all the way around to come in here. So this is the other half of that trail that I couldn't get y'all on just a minute ago because the pond has it flooded. So now things should make sense. I just had y'all over there when I was showing you this pond, and this is where it comes out on this side and goes back there and meanders on through, and the pond is over there. This is the other thing I love about this part of the property. I have some gigantic pine trees on it, some of the biggest I've come across around here. They have got to be at least 100+ foot tall. Look at these. Maybe this will give you an idea how big these pine trees are. Love it. I have them all throughout here this size. I don't know if y'all can see on this little camera, there's little raccoons just running across the food plot in the broad daylight. I did want to show y'all, this is the biggest clay pit that we have on the property. It's kind of unique, and again, the camera doesn't do it justice, but it's probably 20 feet down to the bottom, and it usually tends to hold a lot of water. It's got a decent amount out there right now. A lot of times we'll have bullfrogs and other things in here, and then you'll see things like we just seen raccoons coming around to try to catch some of those, you know, insects and little frogs and everything else that's out here. So this is pretty cool. Okay, so here we are about to come out into the back corner of the pasture, and this will give you a good idea. Basically, we've made a big loop and we're back where we started. So the pasture isn't very wide, but it's quite long and should easily handle the few animals that we're planning on having down the road. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed that little property tour right there. To wrap this video up, we're going to show you a few other things. We had a pole barn right here last year, but a lot of y'all have watched the tornado damage video. We had everything underneath there, the camper, the barn itself, get totaled by a tornado that caught us last year, but we were safe and sound, so that's what's most important. We decided to go ahead and build a much larger barn right here than what we previously had, and we really beefed it up for wind reasons. And I'll go ahead and let you know the other reason that we built it kind of big, and we've talked about this on the live stream the other night, is on this end, 2 bays right here, a future plan. If you want to stick with the channel, we are going to make a 2-horse stall out here and a tack room right here. So that's the reason we decided to go ahead and make the barn a little bigger. And before y'all get too excited thinking, hey, I've got 2 tractors and all this equipment, no, some of that stuff out there is my contractor that is working on the house right now. So I am not fortunate enough to have 2 tractors, although, what, I do have 2 boats, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I know, I'll get in trouble for that one. So speaking of the house that I just spoke about, that is another huge project on the channel. And I'm kind of giving y'all a sneak peek right now, so I won't look at that too terribly much. We have a whole build series coming on our pole barn house. A lot of people seem very interested in that. We're excited about it. It's something unique and different, and we will have a huge series on that with a lot of videos coming. Also, giving you another sneak peek, this huge oak right here, we've been clearing it out and not completely done yet, but working on it, almost there, to kind of get us our dream back porch view across this pasture. And we might as well talk about the pasture. We planted that, sadly, before YouTube, and I didn't show all the work that it took to get here, but we have this pasture for one specific reason, and that's for animals. We plan on having, again, the horses that I just mentioned. We're eventually going to connect a fence probably to that post right there that is going to run this direction and just under that oak, so animals can get some shade there and they have trees in the back. Our future plans and dreams out here are maybe a few cows. We definitely want some goats, some chickens, a couple horses roaming around out there. So that's why it's so important to us to have that dream back porch view to where we can kind of look out here and look at our animals. All right, well, hopefully y'all enjoyed the property tour right there. Like I said, it's been a highly requested video. We have so many more projects going on over in the background. The storm shelter, a lot of y'all been watching that build series. Obviously, the biggest project going on by far right now is the pole barn house, so we'll keep y'all in the loop on that. Firewood is extremely common and popular on the channel. We're about to do a lot of mowing. It's Florida. It rains all the time. Grass grows like weeds. So if you like tractor videos, mowing, and just want to stick around for us developing this place. And we also grow gnats, in case y'all haven't noticed. It is bug season here in Florida. We're going to wind up choking on one before we finish this video. So there is a lot coming. We're excited about animals. Eventually, we're going to get there as well. So we appreciate all the new subscribers, the ones that's been with us. So please stick around. We have a lot of stuff coming on the channel. And anything you want to say?
I'm just trying not to
Yeah, get rid of some gnats. All right. So thank y'all so much, and hopefully you enjoyed the property tour. We'll catch y'all on the next video.